Ye dharma heda brabhava hedande chandatanga haryavadade shanjayo nirodham badma sharamanay swaha. Welcome everybody. Before I give a short introduction to the film and also the Dudjom Lineage, let me invite to drop into silence together, because this is a film, but it's not really ordinary film. It's a spiritual film. When you watch it, you can feel that actually you are almost entering some kind of spiritual pilgrimage journey in your mind as a form of a meditation. This is a form of a meditation and also a form of a sadhana, and therefore let's drop into silence for a while to create a pause and to also bring about the space in our mind to witness this film with more receptivity, with also a sense of sacredness, a connection with this ancient lineage. You are all perhaps very good meditators. I can smell the meditators, ferment, right? Ferment? Meditators, ferment, yeah? It looks like you're all good meditators. So just relax. And you can relax your eyes or you can close them. Drop into your body. Begin to notice sensations in your body. Feel that your feet touching the ground. You can also observe sensations of your body in different locations of your body, such as your belly, chest, arms, jaw. Notice that there's sudden silence where almost like a world stops, and so time stops. Just pure silence. This is a almost immediate way to take our attention from the mind and to drop into just silence. Inner silence. Continuously relax into your body. Feel that you are here, you are completely present. Our mind is no longer lost in the thoughts about the future and the past. Feel that your whole being is right now, stillness. Notice there's some kind of equilibrium and even sacredness, and there's a inner silence. Silence is a sacred, and also silence is also a doorway to the sacred as well. Silence is a form of a prayer and a meditation, because in silence we are no longer caught up in our ego. We are no longer caught up in our stories, our concepts, ideas. We are in touch with the deepest nature of reality and who we are. There are no three poison, there is no greed, there is no hatred, there is no delusion in the realm of inner silence. Thank you for that noble silence as a way to open this evening's event at Dharma film evening. This film, Journey to Golok, is actually almost a visual pilgrimage done by these four wonderful yoginis, these four American practitioners. You will see their faces in the film. They are also part of my community known as Dharmata. The Dharmata is also Sangha organization that has all these different satellite communities in North America and also beyond. It is a Tibetan Buddhist Sangha, and that practices in the tradition of Nyingma, means oldest school, literally. Tibetan Buddhism has many lineage schools, but the oldest one is called Nyingma. This is a lineage or tradition founded by Padmasambhava, Ngurun Rinpoche, and Yeshe Sorgir in the 8th century in Tibet. And then it becomes this very long-lasting tradition that becomes almost like source of all other Tibetan Buddhist traditions. If you think that Tibetan Buddhism is a tree, Nyingma is like a root or the trunk, and all these other lineages are either branches and flowers. In the Nyingma tradition, there are many Mahasiddhas, enlightened beings, poets, teachers, scholars, yogis, and also tertuns. Tertun is very unique to Tibetan Buddhism in some sense. Tertun is somebody who somehow discovered this inexhaustible source of creativity, sacred creativity. It's this powerful opening of the consciousness, and to reach that, one can just write and teach, compose, spontaneous without any effort. Enormous amount of sadhanas, teachings, great treatises. There are many tertuns in Nyingma lineage. For example, the very famous Tibetan Buddhist book, the Tibetan Book of Dead, and this is maybe most famous Tibetan Buddhist book outside of Tibet in the Western world. That was not actually written by a scholar, but it was revealed as a dharma, as a revelation by this Tertun Karma Lampa. And there are many, perhaps hundreds tertuns. They all are regarded as somehow the regent or the representative or ambassador of the Padmasambhava and Yeshe Sorgir. And yet, I think among all these tertuns, undoubtedly, some of them somehow stood out. Some of them are really extraordinary. If you think that all tertuns like stars, some of them are like a moon. And this is my interpretation. Dudjom Lingpa was one of them. He was not only tertun, but he was very unique. And his life story is also very extraordinary too, if you have a chance to read it. Usually many of the Tibetan Buddhist teachers are trained and they have usually gurus. Even you think of Longchen Ba, a great Dzogchen master from the 14th century. He went to monastery, studied a long time, and he spent many years meditating in caves. As a result of all the practices, he wrote incredible books. Most Tertuns, Mahasiddhas actually went through some kind of training, and they had gurus. Whereas Dudjom Lingpa was kind of self-awakened. He didn't have any gurus. And nobody knew that he was this extraordinary Tertun. And somehow, at an early age, he traveled from his hometown, his birthplace, to my home region in Eastern Tibet called Marko. As an ordinary person, he was actually hired by somebody, wealthy family in my hometown, as an attendant, as a servant. Right? While he was there, he started writing all these teachings and kind of caused lots of confusion among people. Some people thought he was abducted by a demon, literally. Maybe he's possessed by some entity. And eventually, these higher lamas began to realize that he's not somebody who is just writing things, just like some kind of just meaningless mental proliferation, but they realized that his teachings are unbelievably profound. Eventually, he was accepted by everybody as perhaps one of the most important Tertun in the 19th century and also 20th century. And it said that his presence was extraordinary, that when people sit in his presence, they had awakening. And also it is said that his teachings are very powerful, very potent. So potent that sometimes when you recite, when you do his sadhanas, or when you read his teachings, even you may not understand conceptually, but you feel some kind of powerful impact. You feel that these teachings, these practices of sadhanas actually transformed your consciousness. During Dudjom Lingpa's life, many people, monks, nuns, ordinary people, studied with him, and many of them become enlightened. Many of them reached the highest level of enlightenment, which is called rainbow body. But Dudjom Lingpa wasn't part of the Buddhist establishment. He was kind of almost like a totally unconventional yogi. He is revered by everybody in Buddhism, but he's not so tied up. He's not like stuck with the Buddhist institution or Buddhist establishment. He was a yogi, and many of his students were like that too. They're yogis. They're like I call Tibetan Buddhist gypsies who traveled everywhere and taught and practiced meditation. Many of them really didn't build the monasteries intentionally. Dudjom Lingpa intentionally did not build monastery. He has much more interest in teaching the Dzogchen and Vajrayana to very sincere practitioners. He was much more interested in awakening of others than building any kind of institutions. So I could spend the whole day talking about him. But he's also visionary. He was extraordinary visionary in a way that maybe our ordinary mind cannot comprehend exactly why he was so awakened and why he was extraordinary visionary. I tell one story, which is recorded in his autobiography. He was born in 1835 and passed away in 1904. When I think an earthquake hit San Francisco. Very weird synchronicity, isn't it? I forgot, when did the earthquake hit San Francisco? 1904 or 1905 or something like that. That was the year also he passed away. But when he was 7 years old, he had lots of visions already. Tibetan Buddhist teachers had lots of visions for some reason, more than many other Buddhist teachers. It's a tradition. It's full of visions, miracles, realization, awakening, magics. He had a vision when he was a 7 years old boy. And that vision, a spirit, Dharma guardian called Shamba appeared. And the spirit told to him, carry this banner. This is all happening in vision. Carry this banner. And put that banner over there, in that valley. Someday the Buddhism in Tibet would be in danger. And this would be the place where the Tibetan Buddhism shine like sun everywhere, all over the world. He had that vision when he was 7 years old boy. Remember, he was born in the 1835. As you know, so much happened since then in Tibet. We don't want to get into detail, but you're, I'm sure, aware of what happened. So much happened in Tibet. Tibet has been changed completely. It went through that. So in the 1980s, this is a totally empty place. The place that was told by the spirit that would be a great place was just empty. It's like land for nomads, place where yaks just hang around and graze, right? In the 1980s, this monk, who wasn't well known at that time, whose name is Jigmet Phunso, Chujin Jigmet Phunso, moved there and started teaching. And that very place was prophesied by this Dharma Pada as an important place for the Buddha Dharma. He started teaching, but the girls who came to his teaching, his sister. And later his sister became nun, and Jigmet Phunso was a very much scholar, but also monk. As he taught, 100 people showed up. Eventually, his place became this giant monastery, and that had one time 10,000 residents. They're all monk nuns, 10,000 monk nuns, and many Tibetans, and also Chinese and Mongolians. It became this giant monastery. It is actually the largest monastery right now in the world for any religion, not just for Buddhism. So it's kind of amazing that that monastery, that the birth of monastery was predicted more than 100 years ago by Dudjom Lingpa. So this kind of one of those stories, how visionary he was. And there are many other stories too. And then some of my ancestors actually studied with him, and they became his disciples. And that's one of my connections with this lineage, Dudjom Lingpa's lineage. Also, I know Dudjom Lingpa's fourth descendant, Dongsin Jigme Wangta Rinpoche, really wonderful Lama. I always regard him as like the ambassador of the Dudjom Lingpa and Dudjom lineage in the world. He invited me to practice in the Dudjom lineage and also to hold the Dudjom Lingpa's lineage. I felt that was very much a blessing to me. I felt extremely honored. I, of course, made this commitment, and that I will practice the Dudjom lineage, and then maybe try to share that with other people if everything goes well. You never know, right? I hope so. Everything will go well. And then there are lots of places where Dudjom Lingpa actually meditated, and also his disciples meditated, such as Anam Thubten, who was actually one of Dudjom Lingpa's disciples. He is a part of also my family lineage too. And then, with all these auspicious karmic connections, for my friends, I decided to go to Tibet and to my hometown and to visit these places are blessed by Dudjom Lingpa and to practice meditation, especially Chut. And then on the way, they somehow decide to take pictures. Also, they filmed lots of wonderful scene from their beautiful mountains, landscape, and also some of these holy site caves. And they showed me what they did. It was quite lovely. And finally, they turned this into a film with some Tibetan music. And so you can actually watch this film as a simply documentary film, Journey to Tibet, and you'll have almost like a virtual trip to Tibet, and you'll be kind of amazed by the landscape of Tibet. Tibet is actually very diverse in terms of its topography. It's a very beautiful place. Western Tibet reminds me of Southwest, like Arizona, New Mexico, except it's situated in a really high altitude. So when you go to Western Tibet, when you go to Mountain Kailash, it's like basically you are driving somewhere in Southwest that is situated maybe 15,000 feet from sea level. And then when you go to Southern Tibet, like Gungpo or Myanmar, is so beautiful that many people call it the Switzerland of Asia, with the snowy mountains, big cascading rivers, forest, exotic animals. There are some even exotic monkeys, by the way, and beside monks as well. Monkeys and monks. They call it the Switzerland of Asia. And I think they should call Switzerland the Gongpo of the Europe. That's my proposal. I hope that's okay too. So you'll see the culture, daily life, and you'll hear music. I don't know whether you ever heard the Tibetan music. By the way, there's Tibetan music too. You're going to figure that out. You'll be the judge whether it's okay music or it could sound very weird too. It's kind of quiet taste. Also, you can watch this film as a sacred presentation, sacred journey. And then you'll really be perhaps moved in some way. So at least you feel, there's sacredness in this film. And seeing all these monasteries, stupas, and people's devotion, their devotion to the holy dharma, their devotion to the sacred, and also the devotion of these four friends. It's very moving. And they had such devotion that motivated them to go to Tibet and do all these practices, come back with, I think, quite a wonderful change in their consciousness. You'll hear their report, their sharing. And I think I should not say too much more than that. Thank you. It's nice to come together. I feel today was a festive from morning till now. It's all festive. It's all celebratory for some reason. Today, this morning, we did an official opening of a temple, Heart Sangha temple, Sunisa's temple. Sunisa will be teaching there. She is ordained as a dharma teacher, and our lineage, Nyangma, especially Dudjom Lineage, we opened the temple and called it the Pama Ut. Pama Ut is a Tibetan word, means the light of lotus, which is the name of the Pama Sambhava and the Yishim Sorgya's fathers. The whole thing was very festive somehow. And there was kind of joy that continued, which was not easy to find in today's world. I think it's important for us to come together just to feel joy and celebrating sacredness, celebrating our togetherness, celebrating dharma, celebrating the holiness, everything. I think we need that right now, especially these days. There are a lot of confusion. There's thousand things that make us unhappy, make us a little bit grumpy, as you may know. So it's really nice to be here. I'm kind of feeling very joyous today, and may it continue. And now we'll see the film, but can I chant one prayer? This is a prayer by Jamgun Mapam, prayer to open and join your endeavor with this words, sacred words, that magnetize all blessings, all the goodness from everywhere, from all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Ushtandevatas. So this is maybe a prayer that we can chant to open this sacred film. Mao Shiv Deshin Barang Popdan the Derton Sosor Topi Hik Macha the Dan Pamir Ramjin Dorje Yaman Wachimbo Sugan Taye Dorje Chunjitawam Su Tuji Shaz Gopama Yarun Konde Ngawan Yertosun no Wanchin Heraka Sanwai Shin Bandra Wara them Chon the Pi Yaro Deshin Dermalu Jergian Torsion Mam Chotan Shal Yawam Shu Datonker Homza Dorje Home Kandu Sokno Tonyam Ba Chimbuangani Dorje Kayaka Yertosum Yol Dorje Songoja Din Kamsum Ozer Mabun Kondi on la Cap Tuji Tamchi Ojan the Berger Dorje Chakpa Chimbu Tukina Namning of Don Gim Chok Sergeant Dorje Chokji Jaba Chimbo Nante de Chimbro Donchamba Tai Jimter Jair or Regent Turkican of Shah and Biram Jam Samsung Wangala Tola Kubia Soran the Ocean Yellam Choding Odom Dorge Huandata Tome want the shape being so where's the popcorn? Do we need a popcorn? Maybe not. Yeah.